Okay, we have any unfinished business? Well, yeah, I guess we have the status of the grant applications and deadlines. You want to talk about that?
Want to give a grant report?
Yeah, sure. Where I'm at was what we've submitted so far is Coca-Cola, and I did submit our letter of intent with Fifth Third Foundation, and they pretty much have accepted our letter of intent, and they will be visiting June the 1st at 10 a.m. here, which is a good thing. This is great. We also talked about the church repairs, and I contacted the Ripley County Commissioner's Office. And when I contacted them to ask them about funding for church repairs, they did tell me we qualify for them. And they directed me to the EMA office because we are a designated disaster shelter, emergency shelter situation. And we're waiting on the approval. We have to write the grant, and the county will sign off on it. But any repairs needed, the county basically said they will sign off. We're just waiting for approval to move forward. All the other grant applications we are registered with several, but I haven't gone on until I know what we're decided to do. If we're going to go on and continue with the grant applications, or if we're going to stop and not go.
Okay, a comment? I would only like to say, Charles, that I know that you guys have worked really hard on putting grant applications together, and I'm coming back here because I have my hearing aid in, but I want to make sure I hear. I may be all wrong, but when we first started talking about grant applications, I thought we were talking about just the building.
Okay.
Okay, and I don't really know when these others came into play, nor if we need them.
Well, one of the things that we talked about was, a lot of the programs, what we do, whether it's outreach or whatever, it requires money. And in order to get people to come to the church, we have to find some way to get them here. Yes, I know building repairs is like a priority. That's the first thing that we really said we would do. And one of the things that keeps the bills paid is those grants and those programs. So I attacked it two ways, but it's, if the church decides that's not what they want to do, I can switch my gears.
But if this is my opinion, you have the money to give to people to help pay for things. Do you honestly think you're going to see them sitting up here in our sanctuary every Sunday?
Oh, yeah. One of the things that keeps churches going is the programs they provide. I've sat on too many church committees and worked in too many churches.
But I have seen a lot of money go out from this church
not
to different people in the community for different things, for this, for that, help pay for bills here, help buy Christmas, help do this. And I understand that's what we are for. But all that money that has gone out, I have never seen a thank you note from anybody. I have never seen anybody come to church that you ever gave money to or whatever either.
Well, one of the things about coming to church, you can't tell people to come to church. Even if you help them, you're not allowed to say you have to come to our church. Our job, we answer to the community. From its conception, the church has been the backbone of the community. And a lot of times, if you start helping, sometimes they will come and say, how can I give back? Now, we can't promise that people are going to run up in here and suddenly have Jesus in their heart. That's just not going to happen. And growing up, for me, it's not what God's going to do to me if I don't show up on church on Sunday morning. It's just with what, because I can tell you, I've left church, but I never left God. I cannot tell what people are going to do, but when there's agencies, like a lot of the agencies we've been working with, such as to get their rent paid. The main agency is called Community Action. It's located in Aurora, which is, half hour, 45 minutes away just to get there. Okay, and for them to help you with paying your bills. Just recently, we had a meeting up here at Tyson Library, and she informed us that the people that go there from this county do not get help because they're saying that they don't live in the county. So now, these people are, falling behind. This is a disenfranchised community. Then the fact that more than 75% of the population here in Ripley County live below poverty level was really amazing to me. That was a challenge. Just talking to the, looking at the statistics and then talking to the people who want to provide money and throw money to this area. That took some time just to get that going. A lot of the people that need help don't know they need it or don't know how to access it. That's a major thing. We got members that come here, and a lot of times this is a proud community. You don't tell them what they need. You just offer the services, and if they need it, they'll come. And in some cases, because of confidentiality, we have to learn to do that in a different way, even if it means one-on-one and going to the home and sitting down privately and talking to them. It just makes it a whole lot easier, and that's just the right thing to do. It's just like when you pray. You pray in your prayer closet. I can have church at home and not have to set foot in this place, but I happen to love going to church. And a lot of times it's what we do that brings people to us. And as far as the funding is concerned, yeah, I know there's money there, and they give so much for us to use the 501c3, to use this building. It's going to pay bills. I'm not worried about that part. The thing I see is also when we have a benevolent committee, we don't have to provide food, but we can use that food card because most of the people that go to the food bank can't eat some of that food. If they have diabetes or a different type of health issues, they can't eat that food. And the stuff that people are giving to those food pantries are stuff that they won't eat themselves.
Well, if you're hungry enough, you'll eat what people give you or provide you. I'm sorry.
Right. Well,
and I don't like giving a gift card to somebody that needs food because I'm telling you what, next thing you know, they're out buying cigarettes or whatever.
That's the catch. On the food card, you do not. You put a description. You put a. There's a block on there. You can have a block put on anything but alcohol and cigarettes. They can buy food. Now, if you're on welfare, most of the time, anybody who's on food stamps know that you can't buy toilet paper, toothpaste, or those things, personal items. So, then this is an opportunity to offset that situation. When you can't buy personal items, you're not going to go nowhere around public if you smell. You're not going to do the things you need to do. You're not going to walk through those places. We're talking about a companion advocate program, and that's what we do. We help alleviate the needs of our community, and as we do that, eventually some people will come through here. They will. I can see they want these things. And in our needs assessment, what we got back was there were people who asked for these things. And so we're trying to meet that need to the best we can. And I know there are people in the community who have said they're willing to work with us in doing so.
And I want to add, actually, when we got our first food basket from the church is when we started coming back to church. And we don't do what we do. We don't give to people to be thanked. I mean, it's nice, but we're not doing it for them to say, oh, thank you, we appreciate you. It's in God's name that we give them and give them our help.
I would agree. Our benevolent fund always just gives because they want to. They don't really expect any thanks. Don't expect people. It's just that, as I understand this grant, and we had a meeting with Mike and Charles and Pastor and Chuck and I, because I didn't understand what they were doing. I mean, I didn't understand what the grant was going for. We do have a benevolent committee here in the church. Now, we don't have enough money to fund all the things that they're saying that we should fund.
But
however, I don't feel like that it is the church's responsibility to take on that kind of a project.
You're right.
Fifth Third Bank may come in here and give us $100,000. But I'm here to tell you, they're not going to give it to you for nothing. Nobody gets anything for nothing, in my opinion. And this is, we can do whatever. The grant for the building, I think, was a good thing if we are to be a disaster community or disaster building. But there's a lot of things in this building that probably has to be done before we can become a truly designated disaster shelter. And
we're already temporary.
right, I know we're temporary, but that's all it is. I mean, if we had 40 people walk in here, none of us would know exactly what we need to do to take care of those people, because we aren't trained to do it either.
But the grant provides that training.
I understand that, Charles. They do, and I have been through some of that training. I sat on the Red Cross board for 6 years, and I went through a lot of training. But that's also been about 10 years ago. So you forget as much as you know. It's like anything else; you have to have it renewed. I don't think that the church should be the welfare office. Now, this is a wonderful grant. If somebody wants to be able to take that on, that's fine. And if you all think you can take that on, that's fine. But I don't know that it should be in the name of the church. I think it opens us up to tons of cans of worms, and anything I've ever dealt with the government, the paperwork is horrendous.
We're getting grants confused here. You're
I
talking
know,
about government and 501, and the Fifth Third is not government, and you're kind of going,
Well,
Well,
I guess what I'm saying is that I'm not all opposed to getting a grant for the building. FEMA has no money. We're not going to get that for a while, but maybe we will get it someday. But this one with Fifth Third,
that community outreach?
that community, no, Michael, I think we should do community outreach from what we can do within our church, not with what we have to do with somebody else's money.
You don't want to do like the movie night or things like that to try to...
Those are wonderful things if we can do them.
But
I don't want to use somebody else's money to do them.
But my question is this, though. I'm under the understanding some of those grants come with stipulations. What are the stipulations on these grants? Can we as a church accept them from a government grant?
And government grants, government grants are very different from community and faith-based grants. Like Fifth Third provides a faith-based grant, and that is for the services like the movie nights and things that we are doing for the community. Those that's what the money's designated for. Anything that's dealing with our youth, our family building, that's under faith-based grants. When we're talking about government grants, no, you cannot go out and buy hymnals and Bibles with them. But you are providing a service to the community. Like the FEMA grants that you're talking about.
As far as the church goes, can we accept that grant?
Well, it's up to the church to accept that contract or not. That money would just go right back to them.
That's what I'm asking is, by the church, the bylaws of the church, will that allow us to accept a government grant like that?
that's how most of these churches, these big churches in the city, that's how most of them operate.
Yeah.
Well, I did call the district. I called to see how, if we as a church should get involved in grants or whatever. And the comment to me was, and I don't have it in front of me, I can't quote it exactly, was be very, very careful. There are lots of stipulations, and you have to make sure that they don't go against the social standards of the church, or of the United Methodist faith. Because that's where we are. But on the other hand, I think we're missing a point here, guys. The trustees are the people who are actually responsible for our church building and its assets, and I don't think they were very well informed about all of these either.
He's a grant member.
Ron sat in on the committee, as I understand. He sat in on a lot of them. But
and again, we tried to involve Chuck, but Chuck wasn't speaking to me.
Michael, let's
leave that
even go
alone.
there.
That was the problem.
I'm going to leave that alone.
That's-
This
don't
is where
go
I'm
there.
at with it. Okay, I just did what, basically, if we're going to fix the building, I followed the criteria of what was required under the fact that we are an emergency designated shelter. I have no problem dropping this whole thing and moving on.
why don't we just get the building taken care of?
Well, you know, I
And then
think I
do
have to turn
something
that over to the
later.
trustees. I can hand them
You guys can
everything
take
and
care
they
of
can
it
do
then.
that, because I am no longer going to worry about
I can't see
whether
tithing
it's
to a
right or
church that won't
wrong.
serve the community.
I know that the stipulations are pretty simple. It's not that hard to follow, and the programs are not that hard to do. I've done
But
it
I
before.
know
Whoa,
of
whoa,
someone
wait a
that
minute, whoa,
applied
whoa.
for a grant.
I'm not going to worry about it.
Every grant is different, and
What do you
you're
mean
jumping
it
them all
won't serve?
together.
What do you mean it won't serve the community? I think we've been doing a lot for the community. This
I
little
think
church has been doing a lot for this community. Since I've been coming here for the 7 years I've been here, I've seen this church do mighty things for this community.
And we can do a lot more.
And we can do a lot more, yeah, but it's only by God's grace if we're going to do that.
Exactly.
Not all the, and you know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get upset, but it's always about money. God is not about money.
Okay,
Fine.
true.
I'm sorry, but it's not, and I'm just so tired of the money situation every time we turn around. God has provided for this church for how many years? 175 years. It's still here. We can do what we can do within ourselves. But we can't do it if we're all going this way and that way.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I really come to love this church. And you know, I don't have a lot. But you know what? God has blessed me for what I have got.
I'm with you on that.
And I know He's going to do the same. He's going to do the same thing for this church. We just got to let Him work instead of trying to take it on ourselves. We got to let Him work here. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get upset, but I see what's going on, and it just...
Did you have a comment, Liz?
No.
You started to say you knew someone who applied for a grant.
Yes, I do. I won't tell you who it was. The first thing you turned around, they had to come up with $1,500, and the second time more money, and the third time they said, "I'm done
What kind of grant
with
was
your
that?
grants."
What kind of grant was that?
It was supposedly a government grant that came from Pepsi-Cola.
I mean, they didn't investigate what they were
Pepsi-Cola?
doing.
Yes.
We just did the Pepsi-Cola one, and it wasn't that difficult. The Pepsi-Cola one
This was about
basically...
3 years ago. I'm not
yeah.
mentioning no names. I'll never tell you.
Yeah, well, the
But
Pepsi-Cola one
someone-
was super simple. I'll be honest with you, they came
I'm
back
for
to us...
what we need
like-
and forget it. Why don't we have something if we need so much more money in our benevolent fund? Why don't we take up a little extra collection or something? Or why don't we have something? And then also, I'm forgiving this benevolent fund. But we have got people that move in here from Ohio. I taught school for years, and a lot of our kids come from Ohio. You know what they say? We're the easiest place to get welfare.
Good.
Go move to Indiana, because we're easy to get welfare. We're easy to get this. We're easy to get that. Let's just help who we really need to help, and let the good Lord help us do that.
Well, like I said, I have no problem with that. It's just that in my recent, as I've worked with the people I've been working with on all these things, and we did a needs assessment, we asked the community what they wanted. That's all fine and dandy. However, this area does not fall under the radar of Indianapolis or the greater Cincinnati area. And we do have some people that have recently tried for welfare and have been denied because of whatever they didn't do on the paperwork. I know because I've helped them. So
They didn't live here long
I had to
enough?
redo it.
I'm
Yes, I did
sorry.
help them.
Running
So,
like you and getting
you know,
If you would sit down and see him help somebody, he sits down and counsels people and goes through all this stuff. If you just saw it one time, it would just turn you around.
I don't
I've
go.
seen it too.
I-
It's
Y'all doing
amazing.
that.
Huh?
Then he should get a job done, that, not
Yeah,
get
yeah.
That's what I do. So you know.
Actually, it sounds like he's just doing a
Yeah.
volunteer.
Yeah, and a lot of times it is volunteer program, but you know, case managers right now have a caseload of more, they're only supposed to have a caseload of maybe 30, 35 people. Most of them have a caseload triple that time, so they can't meet the needs of the people that they serve. I'm not saying that we're supposed to take on all these clients. I'm saying that when people need help, with the money being available, we do have the skills and abilities to offer certain services within those limits. And we would be able to meet those contracts.
Each
I'm not saying-
township has a trustee that people can go to get money also.
They wouldn't
And they always run out of money. I've been through it over and over again. My renters are bad.
Where do you think grants come from? Comes from taxes?
Well, you know, when I run out of money at my household, I pay what I
Okay,
can, and I
if
wait
you
until
know what
I
grant we're talking about, where it comes from, then you
can't
can
all
make that
talk at-
comment.
We can't all
I'm not
talk
gonna-
at once.
I
You know, like
they don't
I
even know what they're
said,
talking about. I know.
I'm past the point of fighting.
I'm over
I
it.
know that God put something in my heart. I do what I'm supposed to do, and I know God has blessed me. I know when I need my bills paid, I trust in God to help me through those things too. Sometimes people need more help than others, but you know, it's supposed to be a hand up, not a hand out. You know, and those are the things that
And
really
I
come
understand
down.
that,
I
but
think my fear with it is we don't have, let's say, in a scenario that we do push forward completely and we get whatever amount of money. My fear with it is we do not have
Calculator.
the ability to do with that money what it was set out to
Y'all
for.
have a good week, I'm sorry, I have
That's
to
all right.
leave.
We don't have the manpower to do that.
Well, that's my sentiment exactly, Mandy. I don't think we have the manpower
Well-
accepting a grant like that and working it through.
and my thing is this. Okay, I understand. I mean, the grants are good. I'm not saying they're bad, and I'm not saying they're evil. And I can understand that. And I went out and got a bunch of the estimates for these. Until I started hearing this, and this, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Maybe I don't know. If there's this stipulation and this stipulation. But my thing is this. Like the men, you know, we do the cruise-ins for the men's meeting, for the scholarship funds. God blessed us last year. He's going to bless us this year for that to add to that scholarship fund. Why can't we as a church do something similar to add to our? I mean, because God will bless us in that way. I guarantee you, He will bless us in that way.
Well, I can't think of a time in the last, and I don't really know how many years, but 10 or 15, that we've really ever had to. We never had a money issue.
Right.
I mean,
Well, no, I'm just saying, if we drop down to that level.
If we needed to do something, we did have a fundraiser, and we made the money to get it done.
Right. But we done it within our.
But we did it within, right. But.
And you pull that money out of your community, though.
But we also,
It's
in
already
turn, give
disenfranchised.
money to the community.
Well, but it's a community effort, and if the people in the community didn't want to help us, they wouldn't come to our dinners or whatever it is that we have.
And
We have to decide. I think we need to decide today so that everybody knows which way to they either have to work harder or work less. And because Charles has put in a lot of work on this, and I know he has. But I guess I didn't realize how far. I just still thought we were talking about the building until we got home from Florida. Well, actually, Charles sent me some emails, so I kind of knew there was more than that going on, but I didn't quite figure it all out.
Like I said, you know, I did everything that would be required to, if you're going to apply for the monies to go with the building, you have to go through the Ripley County Commissioner's office. I did exactly what they told me to do. I ended up having to talk with Mr. Peter Rose. I have followed everything, and I've connected with that man every week, and I get an email from him every week on the status and what we need to do. I have sent him everything he's requested, and now it's just a matter of writing up the proposal.
Well, I understand that, but did he also tell you they were out of funds because of the tornado?
No, Ripley County didn't have the funds because Ripley County didn't apply for them when they were supposed to. But the funds are available through the state.
Okay, well,
I have to say, I personally feel that Charles was sent to us for a reason.
Amen.
And what the ideas that he has for upgrading the area are more than I've ever thought of, and would be wonderful and would help so many people. I've seen what he can do. He's helping my family. He's going to help somebody else I know too. And to get a leg up that's going to be homeless if he doesn't help her. And the things he can come up, I'm just amazed.
This is amazing the blessing that this man has brought.
I think that's, I think it's a waste.
The Lord brings this, the Lord sends us what we need to take care of things.
You know.
So, you know, I'm not, all I say is
I'm saddened that we won't have the family nights and make the shelter house and the upgrades that we have been talking about, and to bring people here. I mean, there's all these kids walking around now, and they're interested. People that are from the cruise that were interested in coming for the.
We're getting lots of positive feedback.
And you know, it saddens me that we won't be able to do that.
Well, who says we can't? Who says we can't have an outdoor movie?
You got to have funding for the equipment.
And that was what it was for.
Well, okay, we can have a fundraiser. We can do something.
Well, you're going to need about $3,000.
I don't know. But
again, that goes back to the fundraiser. If
good
God wants
old-fashioned
us
work,
to have
you
it,
work for
we'll
it.
have it. That's what I'm saying. We're taking our trust out of God's hands. We got to trust that He's going to provide for us. That's what I'm saying. Is it?
You didn't hear what she said.
That the fundraiser, if we're meant to have that stuff, that we need to make and we do have a fundraiser, God will send the people down here to give us the money.
God has sent him right here.
Don't worry about it. You know,
I don't know.
I know it's big and grandiose and a lot to handle, but if you want to help and change your community, this is your chance. If you don't, it's up to you. We can't force you to do what you don't want to do.
I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I put my time in. I did what I had to do.
What was the last figure on what you were wanting to do?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first did it, and we did the needs assessment, to, you know, as far as the youth is concerned, vocational Bible school, what kind of things would we like to see? Because we got kids hanging out here. There's nothing for them to do.
Every night they're out here.
Okay,
every night.
There's nothing for them to do. But it would be nice to have that. One of the things that we put down, it was just basic, like stuff that would build family and community. The movie night thing, outdoor movie night, is a wonderful thing. A lot of these families, when you go to the movies, it costs you, if you have a family of 4, you can best believe it's going to cost you a good $30 just to get into the movies. Okay, so that's simple as that. Okay, then by the time you buy your popcorn and sodas and stuff like that, it costs you enough. It's almost $60, $70 for that family to go to the movie one time. We're talking about a simple little outdoor movie night that only costs the church $250 a year. Okay,
for the license.
For the license, and then we get to show the movies through the summer as a summer thing to do, and just really kind of like make it a welcoming place for people to come to. A lot of time people come to church and they've been beat up too much. And if everybody came to church was feeling good,
that you're going to get the kids in here or the families in the church.
There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee. But
you God's work by faith. There's no guarantee to any of it. Everything for God is done by faith.
Nothing. But one thing we can do is we can try, because there's nothing to a failure but a trier.
You're shooting their ideas down. Excuse me. You're shooting their ideas down. They got to have faith.
Right, and I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but I'm just saying I'm not looking for any guarantees. But if we're going to spend that kind of money, then we should have it, you know, like the fundraiser thing. I don't think we should go after a grant for it.
The church that we attended.
That's what I'm saying, putting our faith back into God, so that He will send the people down here to give us.
And God sent the people right here.
That's one man, Mike.
I know, and that's all He needed to send.
They have those movie nights in Florida, the church we go to, and they're very nice. That that church is much larger.
That's what I said. I'm just worried about the manpower. I think it's great, and if there's kids down here every night, to me, I'm worried about the manpower, because if there's kids down here every night, then why when we drive by are we not addressing those children? I'll be real honest, why am I hearing from other members in the community that when there's children in the playing basketball that they've been asked to leave? Okay, so I
ask
don't,
them to leave.
I have no idea and I haven't found out yet.
Oh my God.
What?
But I don't understand. I don't feel like, I'm not saying that you are not brought to help do this
Easy
and that,
there.
but you can't do it alone.
No.
And I'm telling you right now, it's dying. I'm going to be real honest, quit beating around the bush.
Yeah.
I haven't been here for a long time. It's dying.
Yes.
And the grant ain't going to save it. Because there ain't nobody here but Charles with the manpower. I'm not saying you can't do it. And I was wanting to, but I'm telling you, they're leaving, and I'm telling you from me, from the heart, my mentors are not here, and my heart ain't here.
Well, I didn't understand what that meant.
I do.
It's leaving. It's dying. And if I wasn't married to him, wouldn't be in the discussion right now. I'm tired of the around the bush and the picking. It needs to come back to where it was, and that was work hard to get it. If you want to help somebody in the community, more power to you. You know, and grow it until we get some more members, and then readdress it. Because it's not going to happen with what we got right now. It's not going to happen. And until we start loving it, it ain't going to happen. And that's the bottom line.
Our congregation has really shrunk over the past year. That's really sad, and I don't know how to get these people back. We do have to do some outreach in order to get them back. We have to invite our friends.
And like I said, just recently, you pointed, and like I told you at the meeting that Wednesday, I remember I brought you the information where I had gone onto the UnitedMethodistChurch.org where the conference itself had talked about their closing rural churches because ain't nobody coming.
Right.
You know, I understand that people are scared of grants. I've worked with them. I've done grants before. I've worked with all that stuff. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of the contracts. I know as an agency or as a church we're allowed to look at the contract and say yay or nay to it. I don't even worry about that. But I know I put the work in thinking that, oh, I'm doing something good for you. Obviously I'm not, and I'm cool with that. I've come acceptance that I can switch my wheels and turn my heels to. And I want to thank you. And with the people who are gossiping, just remember, what I have to say, I'm not going to beat around the bush either. I'm tired of it.
Over like past 30 years, I've been playing in bands, playing benefits to raise money for people who have cancer, leukemia, whatever, and all this. And they'll have 20 people show up for a benefit, and that's it. We played over at Seymour Legion. They gave away $1,000. They had 500 people show up. Money draws people in because they want to see it. That's
Because they need it.
they won't show up here for a chili dinner and drop $1,000, but if you have a cash prize, they'll come down.
A TV or something.
A TV, something that they're going to give away that they can take home, and they have.
Basically, you know, and I've already started that. I contacted H.H. Gregg. I contacted Sears. And each one of them told me yes on the 55-inch TV, and I still have to write the letter, and I had to wait because we had to wait to see what people say here. I'm not going to budge anymore until I know.
It's
simple as that.
It's just
There's
that's,
so many
that's the way
different
people are
things.
anymore. They're not going to.
Simple as that.
Well,
No, I don't have to.
we have to make a decision if we're going to move forward or we're going to not move forward. And we've had a lot of discussion. I will also mention that this may not even be the right place to mention it, but the things that at the trustees meeting, and I went along because I was going to take minutes, and as because I'm the lay person to conference, I guess I'm supposed to sit in on all the committees, which I just found out not too long ago. So I went to the trustees meeting too, and I was going to write up the minutes, but I didn't get them written up. But we did discuss that priority list that we had before from the grant, and decided that until we knew something about the housing grant, which
What housing grant?
or not housing, but the FEMA grant for the building or whatever.
All right.
Till we knew anything about that, we were just going to leave those things sit on hold because we didn't have the funds to take care of them. Well, we do need to take care of the termites or whatever these bugs are, the mold, and the leak over this door in the stairway. Those are 3 things that we have to take care of. So, and we don't have any grant money to do that with. We have to take care of that somehow or other. We need to get some work done on it. But before we go there, because as Ron said, we're probably going to have to come down here ourselves and work on this mold before we can get anybody else to look at it. But in the meantime, before we go there, we probably need to determine what we're going to do with these grants. Do I hear anyone make a motion about anything?
I'll make a motion that we don't accept the grants.
All of them? Just
The building grant, the building fund would be all right, I guess, but
But not
okay.
not the outreach one.
all right. You want me to talk? I'll talk.
talk.
I'm gonna do it without breaking down this time, I hope. I've been to this church for a long time, and been to several council meetings. Every council meeting, with the exception of maybe a half a dozen or so, has always been met with turmoil. Every one of them.
Okay, didn't the district superintendent come here and say we were supposed to not talk about things after that meeting?
Don't point your
No,
finger
you're
at me,
talking
Mike.
about the badges
No,
stuff. the
you've
very
got
serious
something
stuff.
for me.
Let me hear this.
You've got something for me already, okay? I don't know what it is.
No, you know darn well what you did to me.
I didn't do nothing to you.
You went and talked to Craig and trashed my housing
guys,
program.
that's
I didn't bring that
not a
up.
church issue. Okay, that's not a church issue.
I didn't bring that up.
It's what you did.
That's not the issue
It's
here.
still how you acted.
The issue is here that what I'm going to say is every idea that you come up with in this church, and I'm not saying they're all bad, Mike. I've told you that before. Every idea you come up with in this church that is met with some kind of resistance, you go ballistic.
What am I doing now?
It's quite evident, Mike. I mean, you're trying to force these grants on people.
What are you talking about, Chuck? I'm sitting here calmly.
Let him get his say out, please.
See, this is what I mean. It's just you turn things around, and people are leaving this church, Mike. They're leaving.
and it's
They're
my
not
fault.
wanting to come back.
I remember the DS
And
said
it's all
something.
because of the fighting. Nobody wants to deal with this. Do you think I wanted to come down here this morning and hear everything what everybody wanted to say? No. It's plain and simple. I'm tired of fighting in a church. The church is not meant to fight in.
Amen.
A church is to come here to worship the Lord, ask forgiveness for your sins, and if we can help somebody along the way, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
What all this is going to do, I'm sorry. It is. It's a secondary welfare system. If the county government can't do it, then we need to get on the county government to see that they do it. It shouldn't be a church's responsibility to do that. That's the way I see it. I may be totally wrong, and if I am, I apologize to everybody.
Okay. My turn?
I kind of agree there. I mean,
My turn?
the church-
Michael?
If you want to speak, go ahead.
Wait a minute, did you say Lamar was talking?
Lamar's talking.
I kind of agree with Chuck. Always.
I do
all
too,
my
Lamar.
life It's been the church is for a church. Welfare thing that's separate from
Okay.
a church. I mean, a church is to worship, and that's about it. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
No.
Because of the bickering, I'm afraid.
Well,
I'm afraid even to use the benevolent fund. I'll be real honest. I think Mark's car shows are great. I couldn't come to this one. I went to the last one. I know somebody with a car, and I didn't ask him to come because I didn't want him to come.
Why?
This.
What would have happened yesterday if that person came to the car show?
I don't feel comfortable here anymore.
I haven't been able to invite anybody for years because of Mary Sue, so I've always dealt with that for year and year.
Whoa.
Wait a minute,
Whoa.
we can't start pointing fingers.
Right there. Stop. You said you didn't want to bring up bypass?
You're the one that did it first.
I didn't bring up nothing
you did.
extra.
You did too. About how I be allowed at the meetings, brought out stuff in the past, Chuck. It's time to go.
Get yours. Wait, it's not time.
I got not a problem walking out of that door right now and never stepping foot back in this thing. Because you've got people out of this church that you were glad that they're not coming back.
I did.
Okay.
Judge me, Judge. Put your judgment on me.
Deal with this.
Mike, keep quiet.
You need to quit pointing your finger at me too.
Hey!
Wait a minute, guys.
You ain't gonna attack the preacher.
He didn't attack him.
Now let's
He
go.
has and he did, and
I have
that's
rights
done.
too.
I'm telling you right now.
No,
Ron, you sit down too. Okay.
This is how I feel about it. It is evident, let's not beat around the bush, it's evident that this behavior will stop. It's evident. It will stop. And I'm going to tell you why it's going to stop. It's not an ultimatum. I'm not going to do a Mary Sue. But if you don't stop, the church is done. If we need to call the superintendent back, call him back. Because there's nobody here. It's done. Is it all you? No. Did I feel what Mary Sue did was correct? Absolutely not. And I stood toe to toe and defended that I didn't feel like it was a Christian behavior. Your behavior, I'm not judging you. God's going to judge you, but I'm going to tell you right now, as a member of your church, you ain't being Christian. You ain't being it. It's not a judge. You're not. And I'm tired of it. From someone who defended you fully, you are not being Christian. You need to take a look and evaluate. You better look at Charles because he did it. Charles, people threw stuff off you. It wasn't an attack to you. I just said, I don't think we have the manpower. You listened to me. You understood me. And that was fine. You're not doing that. And you need to look at that. I'm sorry, and you can say it's wrong. It's there.
Like I said, I'm at that place where, I'm glad if you say you don't want to do it, fine. I can stop. I can switch my heels and turn
and
my
I love
gears.
you for that. It isn't a
ain't
bad
about
thing,
me
but
holding a grudge. I'm tired of holding grudges. As a matter of fact, I'm tired of fighting. But you know what? Mess is mess.
Very much.
Mess is mess. And I call mess what it is. But when people go behind my back and I'm getting threatened, that's when I'll deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm cool with that. But
Well,
right now,
hold on,
no, wait a minute. I'm not done. Because I have been threatened. And because I have been threatened, I become concerned. And that's when someone wants to put bodily harm on me, I will deal with it. But right now, I'm not about that. I don't care what's going on outside this church. I'm talking about what's here. When you say you don't want to do the grants, cool. I'm cool with twitching my heels and do what I do. But as far as my threats, no, I don't need to do that. I'm tired of arguing. I'm tired of people snapping at me, barking at me, and barking at each other. And it's a bunch of crap. That's not Christian.
Right.
And when you talk about, I've left the church, yes, I left the church. I didn't leave God, but I sure left the church.
Michael, why you keep looking at me when you say what you say?
Because the rumor got started somewhere.
And
someone decided they were going to come to our house and hurt
run the faggots and their housing program out of the town, and we know who did the gossiping.
For that, I'm going home.
Oh, how do you know it was me that did it?
I was told.
There's a bunch of other people around in this community too, Mike.
You've already ring them out to 3 people on my board.
I don't even know anybody in this community.
You bring them out to 3 people on my board.
Okay. All right. I'm taking this. Bring this meeting back together. We can't go on like this. There is a motion on the floor to not. I'm not sure exactly what it said. What did you say, Chuck? Chuck, you made the motion.
That we don't accept the 5th third grant.
That we don't accept the 5th third grant.
Or this outreach grant.
How about Coke? How about the others? I mean, You got to cover. You already applied for Coke.
And see, that's another thing. We've applied for grants that you never actually got permission from the trustees to do. Michael, now wait a minute before you go off now, okay? You say that you guys haven't had communication with me, okay? I have been in this church when that stuff was working on, okay? I have been in the church. Yes, you finally got an email. I've gotten one email. That's it. One. Last I recall, there's a phone line from your house to my house. Mm-hmm. It's only about a half mile from your house to my house. Hell, come see me.
I know, it goes both ways.
And I heard I did come to see you. And you didn't want to talk to me.
Yeah, I remember what you said.
That wasn't about the church.
Okay. I didn't bring that up.
It wasn't about the church. What you were talking about, you came to see him, but that wasn't about the church.
Because he told me if I had a problem, I could come see him.
Anything that we do in this church, the conference, anything we do to the building itself, or anything, the trustees are responsible to the charge conference, and those things have to be approved at the charge conference. We have to go by the rules. We can't just jump in and do things. And now this meeting has gotten kind of way out of hand, but we have a motion on the floor not to accept the Fifth Third grant. Do I have a second?
Second.
I didn't hear it.
Second.
Second. Is there any more discussion about it?
I think it's crazy.
Did you want to vote by secret ballot or something?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
It's not necessary. It's not going to pass.
It's not necessary.
We know who's going to vote for what. But they've said, Howard.
Everybody's good with it?
We already know how they're going to vote. There's no sense keeping it secret.
Those in favor of not going forward with the Fifth Third grant, please raise your hand. Not going forward with the Fifth Third grant. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And those opposed would be?
I abstain.
4. Okay. And we will not go forward with the Fifth Third grant. I understand you've already applied for the Coca-Cola grant. That was to help the cruise in or something. And
For cruise
but you haven't heard anything from them?
Because you have to get in, the applications for Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and all of them have to be in 90 days before the event. We did not get in within the 90 days, but we are within the June date.
So before we can accept that, even though you've already applied for it, before we can accept it, we have to see what the stipulations are to make sure that we're within the guidelines of the church. Okay? Because with everything comes stipulation.
Sure.
Okay, so before we can accept that, we do need to know what those are. But we haven't gotten it yet, so we don't know what it will be.
Oh, excuse me, what was the vote count?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7 to
7,
3.
8,
8 to
9 to 1, 2, 3, 4. And you didn't vote. I didn't put you in there, Howard. I
don't vote.
I didn't think you did. So. Okay, so we will not go forward with the Fifth Third grant. Okay, and you'll let us know when the Coca-Cola, whatever you hear from them. And the building grant is still on the burner.
Well, like I said, if it's the trustees thing, I can hand it all over to the trustees and they can move on with it. I can take my hands off of this and move on. I am not one to fight. I'm tired of fighting again. If it's to fix the building, I have no problem doing it. But I'm not going to worry about it. It's up to you guys.
Okay. Well, we'll let the trustees decide where they'll go from there. We'll leave that up to them when they have their meeting. In the meantime, we do need to do something with this mold. And we need to have some volunteers and pick a day and see if we can do something. If we have to do it in between the cruise-ins. Because,
just let me know
when the people come for the cruise-in, they will be using the downstairs.
For minutes,
So,
the rest of them.
I mean, they come in and out. Anyway. So, I don't know. What's a good day? Anybody have a day? Suggest?
Mark, when's the next day that has to be?
I'm sorry?
When's the next day the cruise in it?
The third Saturday of each month.
Is it the 16th?
It's May, no, this is already May.
June 16th.
June 15th?
16th.
June 16th.
June 16th.
Okay, I should get my
Do
calendar.
we have anything scheduled in between that? There's nothing on the calendar?
Oh, well, Howard and I are going to conference on the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I'm tied up with the Tri-Campus Golf Tournament on the 9th. That's an all-day thing. I'll be working. Today is the 20th.
Sorry.
Lamar and I'll be gone this week.
Next weekend's Memorial Weekend, so that wouldn't be good.
That's not a good weekend to do it. I don't know. He said we need to move everything out of here, but I think if we could come and maybe we don't all have to come at the same time.
We can take this off here if we do it, and we can do it in sections. I mean, it's not a big
Take
deal.
what off?
No, like move the tables.
Oh, move the tables out, yeah.
Move the tables back this way. We could tape this off and do it like one section, two sections.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking, like if I had an afternoon or something, I'd come down here with a scrub brush and
But now he did say, that gentleman did say, when we do start cleaning these walls off, scraping the paint and stuff, we do want to wear a mask. It's because you don't want to breathe that stuff up into your lungs.
So you need a power washer? That's
so you'll need
That'd be too much. We don't have any drainage down here.
oh.
Oh, that's right.
So that's going to be the next trick. Whatever you
Well,
clean, you're going to have to mop up.
under
I was gonna say, I
Lamar?
thought it was in the middle. Are they clogged or?
There's a drain right
there's
in there.
a drain here. Does this
Drain
not
over
work,
there.
you think?
I don't know. Does,
I guess I could pour some water down there and
I'm
find
like, I
out.
know that one works because, I just know it does because we.
That one over there, yeah.
Uh-huh, but I don't know if these are
Well,
still.
if you're gonna move all this stuff out, all this junk that's laying in this church that we don't need, all that junk behind that thing and behind that piano, instead of just bringing it back in here and laying it back against all the walls and stuff, you need to pitch it and get rid of it or find something to do with it. If you're gonna
Well, we
clean these
did talk
walls
about
and you're gonna clean all this mold and stuff, there shouldn't be anything laying on these walls or laying against.
Well, truthfully, anything,
whatever.
if there is any really bad mold down here, anything that's down here probably is infected
Right.
or infested or whatever, would you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did he say anything about that, Ron?
Yeah, the paper goods, if
Yeah.
it's against the wall, it should be destroyed or thrown away
Yeah.
because that mold will attach itself to the papers.
So like this,
Cardboard, paper,
I mean, they
material,
used this,
basically.
but I don't think they used it last year for Bible school.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did. They took pictures with it, didn't they? Down
I
here.
so like
think
your
that was
curtains and stuff like
Laminated,
that.
maybe we can wipe that laminate off.
If you have any cloth against that too, the mold will attach itself to the cloth. So
Would they
Whatever,
have
you know.
to take that paneling and stuff down then too?
no, I don't think so. He said that we could if the mold is that far over. He said we could just scrub it with the
Scrub it?
soap water, and he said it
And we
should.
probably have a little room left out in the shed. Or Howard went out and looked, and he said it looks pretty neat in there. We might have to stick up some shelves, but we probably have some room out there in the shed for some things that we need. And then maybe if
Excuse me again.
some of the ladies can get together, we can decide if we need all this stuff down here. Like we have tons of tablecloths under there that are so old, we need to get rid of those, and old costumes that have been here forever. Heaven forbid, wouldn't be absolutely wonderful if we got 20 new kids. We could just make 20 new costumes for Christmas if we should get them. So I don't know. But how about June the 2nd? That's a Saturday. Anybody who can, I guess. Things work better when you have a crowd.
What time?
Oh, I don't know.
early?
Well,
Huh?
I'd say either early morning or late in the evening, so it'd be cool. Cooler, because we'll have to have the door open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ventilation.
About 8:30 or so.
In the morning?
Yeah.
I would probably start in the restrooms and work out and get those done because those will be what get used first.
For the
For any
presents.
events or something here, the restrooms will be where they go. And you want that to look nice because that's what I said yesterday. when Elaine, I didn't know who cleaned the restroom in there, but that would have been, if they'd have walked in and seen that,
Oh, yeah.
it wouldn't have mattered what we did outside. That's what they would remember.
Oh, I know, and I made sure it was down yesterday morning
Yeah.
because I didn't. I knew that probably nobody else had seen it, and I wanted to gather that stuff before it was somebody
Right.
else did clean it. So I came early yesterday. Wasn't very early.
June the
but I
2nd
came.
at 8 o'clock, is that what you're saying?
I said 8:30.
Oh,
In
8:30.
the morning?
Did you? Did I say 8 o'clock the first time?
8:30 did 8:30.
Did that guy recommend any particular brand of cleaner?
No, you just say basically you just get a strong,
He
like
said
a
when
lawn.
he said bleach, he didn't necessarily say not bleach, but what he said is any antibacterial. That's the
Right.
key word.
Strong,
Hand soap.
yeah, like a strong antibacterial soap. That
With
will
Dawn,
kill-
I'd probably go with Dawn dish soap.
Use it with antibacterial stuff in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I think so.
Right.
Don't.
That
No,
or-
use.
Yeah, because that antibacterial soap will kill the spores.
We thought of that OxyClean.
Yeah,
Might help.
Mark and I were talking about OxyClean. We thought maybe it would
It would help
whiten us.
whiten the walls
It was
up a
whiten
little
as
bit.
whiten as we wipe them. I don't know if it will or
Probably a
not.
sprayer and spray it on, let it run down the walls, and then wipe it down.
We'll probably
Brush.
have to.
Needs
We'll
a
probably have to
brush.
try several different things.
Yeah, he said you'll definitely have to scrub it where the mold and stuff was, and about a foot or so above to get to do the job that needs to be done.
That's the recommendation, when I worked Katrina, after Katrina, everything was a foot above what you see, our water
Right,
line, or
right.
et cetera. And we used a bleach compound. That's what we scrubbed everything down with. Seemed to work. I don't know. I mean, go back to see, but that was what.
Well, that's what we always use when we done it down there. The construction company I work for. That's what we use is bleach water. But this gentleman said not to. His name Jim. I can't remember his last name now. Jim something.
Don't you remember we did that bleach water once before, Wanda? Weren't you here when we did that with John and Bessie? And we cleaned down here with buckets of bleach water, cleaned this off.
He kind of made a joke out of it. He said bleach water. He said, all you're going to do with bleach water is irritate your eyes.
Well, that's the
I
truth.
think
That
that's
will
why they
irritate your eyes.
suggest As long as it's an antibacterial, it doesn't have
Yeah,
to be.
I think we just ought to go. And everybody bring a bucket and some soap, and we'll
Brush.
and some brushes, and we'll
Bring you some scrub brushes because he
and
said
some
it wouldn't be
rags, and
scrubbed.
we'll work on
How
it.
about like on the places where it's built up with wire brushes? That's what we used.
Yeah, wire brushes, something to get all that off of there
Yeah.
with. Yeah.
Okay. That's acceptable then.
And that's what he was saying. You use the wire brushes when you scrub off the mold and stuff, or the paint. That's why he said to use a face mask because
right,
you don't
sure.
want to breathe in that
Right.
spores and the particles.
That would probably
float.
be smart. So,
And
do we
then
have?
Then probably vacuum up what we're doing there rather than sweeping it up too. That would.
Well, I guess you could do that. He didn't say anything about vacuum, but he said to let it all fall down on plastic, then fold the plastic up.
Oh.
He said, and what he does, he has a pit. He just burns it. Burns it in his pit. He's got a covered pit somewhere. He said that not him, but a place that he knows of that he just burns the plastic and stuff up. But if it has to be ozoned, he said if they ozoned it, then that's a totally different process altogether.
Well, if there's black mold here, we need to get it out of here.
Yeah.
Any mold. And we've been talking about this mold situation for years. It's not a new thing, but we have to attack
Well,
it.
he did say that the mold could be part. He said it can cause the allergies and the breathing problems. He said just not the black mold, but he did say the black mold is deadly. He said it's poisonous. He said you can die from the black mold.
Chuck, did you get a hold of Steve Patrick?
No, I tried him the other day and it went just
Okay. As Chuck is checking with Steve Patrick to come give us have him take a look at this leak we have out here in the hallway.
I'm
It
hoping
looks like
tomorrow, if it rains, I'm hoping to get down here while it's raining and see if I can
see if you
where
can
it's
see
at.
where it's coming in. It actually looks like it's coming along the stair wall and then falling down, and then it's kind of always damp in that corner. So, but it's also damp in the men's room along that edge too. Did you notice that?
I seen that too.
And that worried me a little bit. It's still damp this morning.
That ramp is on that edge is damp.
It's right along the edge of the wall is damp.
So I don't know if we got a leak there or what. I mean, something's got to be leaking to make it
Something.
moist like that.
So, okay, is there anything else we need to discuss?
I think did we also do this about the outreach grant?
Yeah.
We voted that one out, or did we even vote on that one? I know we voted on the Fifth Third.
The Fifth Third is the outreach grant,
Okay.
as I understood it.
So I didn't know if that was the same one or if
Yeah.
there was another separate grant for that. I did not.
Did you have anything else, Howard?
If
No,
you
I
didn't
was
understand,
thinking
why
about-
didn't you ask?
Huh?
If you didn't understand, why didn't you
My
ask?
understanding when he first brought it up, it was a totally different grant. I didn't know
It's been
nothing
voted
about
off.
the Fifth Third grant
Go on.
until we got back off vacation.
It's done.
That's, what'd you say, Bart?
I said it's done.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give up
And
cleaning
it's
the
been done for a
church.
long time.
Oh,
Give up cleaning the church. I can go back to volunteer.
You can remove me
And,
off of the grant
stop.
committee.
Stop.
And remove me off the outreach committee.
And go back to volunteers to clean the church.
Oh, you don't
I've
have to
only
tell
been-
me because I ain't coming back.
I've only been doing it once a
Well, I
month
won't be
anyway,
here either.
so.
okay. Mo had somebody that she thought might be interested in cleaning, and Mark said that
I
maybe
would
Katie
do-
might. So,
I would do part of it when I was home, if it would help our finances.
right. And I will too. I would be glad to too.
Because you only need to clean once a month because there's
turns
really
or
nothing
something,
going on.
that would help us out. I do
Yeah.
know somebody that would do it, but then I got to thinking, that may help us out a little bit.
Yeah, we used to
And it
always.
wouldn't hurt me.
We always used to do that.
Yeah,
Just
we
take
did,
turns
a
and
month
do
at
it.
a time. We
And-
cleaned the church.
We just have to remind each other that's my problem.
Well, that's the problem. That's what it.
I just been doing it at the beginning, the first of the month, and come down and clean and vacuum real good.
You just
and
tell me it's my
whatnot.
month.
And
Do we-
then
do-
we don't
do
be
they need
done
to have
until the
to-
following
Well,
month again.
Elaine, why don't you and I take the summer while we're home and let the other girls take the winter?
That might be a good
Would
idea.
that work? You wouldn't care, would you, Lamar? Lynn, would you care if we did?
Do you have a choice?
Then would you come and run the vacuum?
That's all you gotta do, Lynn.
You'll need a new sweeper because I've been bringing
You
my
run it
sweeper.
at home.
That sweeper doesn't pick up anything.
Okay.
Okay, we need a new sweeper.
horrible.
Again, we always need a new sweeper. Now, Howard, you had something. You said.
Paula, would that be okay with you?
I'm not coming back, Mo.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was gonna say it, because I would be glad to do it.
I have no idea what I'm going to ask.
Okay.
Yes, I guess I do too. What about the other grants that Charles was talking about? Is there any action needed to be taken on that now, or is that something?
No, we talked about that. He's already applied for the Coca-Cola grant. I mean, they've already done that, and that's fine. I mean, it's in. But we need to just check the stipulations when it comes back to make sure that there aren't any ugly strings. And the housing, the building through FEMA, which he said FEMA doesn't have any money, but the state does, he's going to turn over to the trustees.
To the trustees of the church.
Right. I mean, that's what he said. We didn't make a motion on that or anything, but that's what Charles said. He'd taken it as far as he could.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Has there been anyone checking into the money available for mowing? Is that still okay, or is it about to run out too? Or
Well,
I'm paying it.
we're still paying him. That's a Billy mows around the church, and he's been mowing once a week for $40. For years, he mowed the cemetery, and he just mowed the church as well. And the cemetery paid him, and the church didn't. Several years ago, and I don't remember exactly how many, 5 or 6, maybe longer. The Cemetery Association doesn't have any money anymore, so they wondered if the church would pick up paying Billy his portion, and that way, because he needed more money, prices went up, whatever, And so that's when the church started paying him $40 to mow around the church. So he does that. And it's already $200, and we're only at the middle of May. And that's not May. That's just April. And I think he's mowed $200, whatever that is, 5 times. And Nick Buchanan has been doing our bush hogging, and there are donations that help to offset that. But he charges us $100 to bush hog back there and keep all that shut down. And he usually does that 5 times a year, 5 or 6. And some of that is offset by donations, particularly for that. So that's where we are on that. You see how much money we have? We're just so I don't know, but the mowing is an issue.
Yes. Well,
I mean, it's an expensive proposition. But did you want to make a comment about it or suggestion?
I was just wondering on it because I knew we brought that up once before, and then I didn't know what was their final thoughts on it was. And
okay, I don't.
Because I thought this cemetery is different than this one.
Right, and we don't have anything to do with either one. Neither cemetery is connected to the church. This is called the Old Cemetery, as I know it. And Mary Sue is the treasurer of that, and she maintains that, however. And this one over here is the new cemetery, and that I think Donetta Benham still has, and she takes care of that.
Okay.
But that ground in the back is ours, and so it is around the church. And I'm not exactly sure how far around the church is the church, but I think Mary Sue told me last year that they were short of funds, and she was only having him mow every other week out there. I don't know if we wanted to do that or not. It gets a little high after, especially this kind of spring that we've had.
That out there looks so nice when it's mowed. I'll help support that.
Yeah.
I just think.
Well, we know that you do, but I know you help support that. So.
Yeah. And Lee always mows all that in the back over there before Memorial Day. And I think if I would ask him, well, then after that, Nick doesn't. But he always does that for Memorial Day.
On the cemetery side.
Back that, yeah.
So. Okay, anything else?
Do we furnish the flags to put out at the cemetery for Memorial Day?
We did last.
Mike has a.
Mike does it. I don't. I don't know where his funding comes from. He's just done it. Your dad did it for years, and Mike has been doing it since your dad's been gone, as far as I know, right? And I don't know if to my knowledge, the church has never been involved in that either, but except when it's Memorial Day, they do come and we usually participate in the service they have out there. But I think Mike puts all those out on Saturday before that service. Now, I don't know if he needs new flags or not.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, anything else? Do you have a question?
Who does put those flags out?
Mike does.
Mike does.
Oh, I thought.
Dad did before.
Okay. I don't know why, but I thought.
Oh, it's not the Legion did. That's your
Thought the Legion put him out?
No.
Well, he has his own map of who's where.
Yeah, he has a map. Mike has a map that I'm sure
Good. Okay.
that goes out and puts them out. I know I think the Legion does put them out in Versailles. I don't know who does it, but you get down there Memorial Day and all the flags are
The cemetery
at the cemetery. You think maybe the Cemetery Association does that too?
Yeah.
Well, they probably do.
The Legion didn't do it.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, if we don't have anything else, Howard, would you close this prayer? Let's
Heavenly Father,
get together.
we pray for guidance and direction. You know the turmoil, tempers firing. Forgive us. Forgive us and direct us to being the church of Jesus Christ in this community. It's in His name we pray. Amen.
Amen.